Good morning folks and welcome to Converting for Heresy. In this episode we'll be working on the also known as the 17th Legion. The Sons of Lorgar are religious fanatics who, shunned by the Emperor, turned to the worship of chaos. They are the first true traitor legion and, as such, sided with Horus during the Heresy. Aesthetically speaking, depending on if we are in early, mid, or late Heresy, they would have typically been clad in Mark II, Mark IV, or straight up Chaos Space Marines. For the sake of this video, we'll be focusing on mid-Heresy, during and after Isvan V, but before the Siege of Terra. The word bearers during this time would have mostly been clad in Mark IV power armor covered in parchment and scriptures to better carry the word. They would also often have a flame motif upon their power packs, and it would not be out of place to include some chaos-inspired bits. Our first step today will be to upscale the Mark IV kit using legs from the more recent Mark VI release. We'll start by clipping out the parts needed for the Mark IV torso, as well as the parts needed for the Mark VI legs and torso. We can now clip, scrape and file all the parts needed before gluing together the Mark IV torso as well as the Mark VI legs, leaving the Mark VI torso separate for now. For those unaware, it is also possible to use extra thin plastic cement to smooth out filed parts. A quick size comparison shows that the torsos are in fact the exact same size. The next step will be to cut the Mark VI torso off just above the belt line using our clippers. We can then start to remove the rest of the belt using our hobby knife and file. Once most of the belt is gone, we can glue on the all-important butt plate before finishing up the belt removal by cutting, filing and sanding, doing frequent comparisons to ensure the perfect fit. We can now glue both sides of the assembly together using regular plastic cement on the inside of the torso as well as extra thin plastic cement on the legs, taking our time to correctly align both the parts. Here's a size comparison with the unmodified Mark IV kit. We can now move on to figuring out the pose using arms from the Mark VI Assault Squad and Blue Tech. Note that arms from the melee upgrade screw would also work. Once happy with the pose, we can glue on the hands, in this case a regular bolter from the Mark IV kit, as well as a grenade holding hand from the melee upgrade sprue. To finish off the Mark IV look, we'll be using a power pack, shoulder pad and head from the Mark IV kit, and to add some chaos flair, a shoulder pad from the Chaos Legionaries kit. To achieve the flame motif, we can source candles from the Corridor Gang kit, using our clippers to do the bulk of the cutting and then our hobby knife to finish off the job before gluing it upon the power pack. Finally, we can add parchments using purity seals by simply clipping off the wax before cleaning the parts using a hobby knife and file. We can glue the parchments directly to the marine and continue adding more to our heart's content. Here's an example of a different marine using the same techniques. Once base and painted, you should have something that looks a little like this. Thank you very much for watching, hopefully you found this video useful or at least entertaining, and I hope to see you in the next one.